Okay, just to let you know, I'm actually doing a giveaway right now. It is very simple to participate. All you have to do is just like and subscribe. Once I hit 500 subscribers, I will be giving away a final E2000. You don't really have to pay anything for them. I will mail them to you. So all you have to do is to just like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and let's carry on the top 5 IEMs that I really love so far in my lifetime. So the first IEM that I would recommend to you, without a doubt, is the Moondrop Aria. You know why it's the #1 choice for an IEM under 100 bucks? That is because they have an anime girl on the box, and everybody likes an anime girl. You have your own personal waifu. I mean, seriously, I can't believe I'm actually saying this out in public. I think I'm being judged right now, but that's okay. So the thing about the Arias is that it has a metal body which is very solid. You know, so far I've heard many people talking about the paint coming off the Arias, and that might be true. But I don't think that is a crucial flaw. What I absolutely do not like on the Arias is the cable. Every time I take them out from my bag, I will spend 5 minutes fighting with the cable. Despite that though, I think the Arias has a very nice, safe sound. So if this is your first expensive IEM, I would wholeheartedly recommend them to you. So in terms of sound, I would say that the Arias are actually very safe sounding. They are neutral warm and they come across as very easy to like. Some people might find them boring, but honestly, because these are entry-level earphones, I can forgive them for that. They do the basics well, and really, that's all it needs to do. Bass is actually very mid-bass dominant. It is fun. It is not the fastest of bass. Transients is slightly slow, but I don't find them muddying up the rest of the sections. Vocals are lush and clear, and honestly, for this price, it's hard to find something even better than this. In terms of highs, you get your hi-hats, your crashes, those are all very crisp and clear, but they do not have absolutely god-tier highs, so you don't get a lot of air with them. To be honest with you, soundstage is also okay. They are not the widest sounding, but you know, for under $100 US, I really can't expect much, and I think that they do an absolutely banger of a job. Under $200, I would seriously recommend the Final E4000. Now, the Final E4000 came up together as a pair with its more expensive brother, the E5000. However, the E4000 is quite different in character to its elder brother. It sports an anodized black aluminum chassis that has a very natural, neutral sort of tuning, which is vastly different from the E5000. Inside it, there is a single dynamic driver and even has interchangeable MMCX cables. So if you're the type of person who wants to explore the world of cables, that rabbit hole of cables, you can actually do so with the E4000, and the E4000 responds to cable rolling very well as well. Next, moving on to sound with the E4000. The E4000 has a very natural sounding tone. So what this means is that vocals are not unnecessarily crazily warm colored or cold colored. They are neutral. You also get details aplenty. A plum actually. Quite a lot of details from the E4000. In terms of bass, they are actually rather linear sounding. There is sub-bass that transitions linearly to the mid-bass. The mid-bass is not more prominent than sub-bass. It has good texture and good weight. Finally, moving on to treble. Treble is also very crisp and clear, but I don't think that they are the clearest or the cleanest sounding treble out there. It performs very well in its price category. Soundstage on the E4000, because it's a semi-open earphone, it's important to note that because of this, it actually sounds bigger than your typical IEMs. One thing to know about E4000 is that if you give them power, they will reward you in bucket loads of performance. If you use the E4000s out from your usual handphone, mobile phone, that kind of thing, it performs okay. You might not get the full experience, but if you use something like the Lotto Paul S1, Astor & Kern P51, or a serious DAP, this is something that will really change the game. If you're moving up to earphones in this price range, I highly suggest that you consider using a DAP as well. So the next IEM that I recommend is actually under $500 US if you can get them at this point of time. They are the legendary Sony MDR Ex1000. Now these earphones have been around in the market for a long time. I think since 2009, maybe 11 years, 12 years coming now. They are still available in the market, but you probably will have to search for them. The Sony MDR Ex1000 sounds vastly different from the earphones that I mentioned before. They have a neutral cold tonality, and this is a technical beast. So one thing to note is that it is a clear semi-open design. You can actually hear people talking in the train. There will be a bit of a sound leak, but because of that you get incredible soundstage. Everything is incredibly airy. In terms of driver configuration, now the MDR Ex1000 is quite special. It has an internal 16mm liquid crystal polymer diaphragm. Now if you think, why is this diaphragm so special? In the world of earphones, people often use 8mm, 6mm, 10mm drivers, but almost nobody uses 16mm driver, which is huge. Can you imagine? It's the size of maybe a 20 cent or a 50 cent coin in your ear. Yeah, it's really that big. If you're thinking that the size of the driver makes bass go wild, honestly, it isn't the case at all. Bass is actually very tight and controlled. Not something that you think a 16mm driver can pump out. It actually is very technical sounding. There is a lot of sub-bass going on. Mid-bass is also very linear. Actually, I think mid-bass cuts down a bit, so you do not get a lot of that dynamic kick. But what you get in return is you can hear the layers of music rumbling through. Like if you're listening to an orchestra, you can clearly hear the flutes going on with the trombones, that kind of thing. The flutes are not drowned out by the trombones, so they are excellent for layering. Moving on to the mid-range. Mid-range do not have any additional coloration in them. They are not warm. Some people will say that they're slightly cold. I find them quite neutral sounding. Nothing in the realm of warmth. So with this, you get very accurate mid-range. You can really hear the singers breathe. You know, it might sound a bit perverse. Why would you want to hear the singers breathe? But it really does that quite well. So it picks up a lot of details. In terms of treble, it's present. Again, it is actually quite well extended with the MDR Ex1000. Your hi-hats and cymbals are very crisp and clear. But what I like to add is that for the MDR Ex1000, there is a very good sense of air as well. And to be honest with you, sub $500 to get a very good sense of air, it is not something easy. In fact, I don't think many IEMs these days give you the sense of air that the MDR Ex1000 gives you. Soundstage-wise, it is amazing. These earphones are not bass monsters, so what you get, as I said earlier, you get spades of layers. In terms of soundstage width and height, it's really wide. I would consider this, if you've been to an excellent big concert hall in Singapore, like maybe the Esplanade that is located somewhere over there, it sounds something just like that. It is huge. In terms of positioning, also excellent because the transients are amazing. Well, moving on, the next IEM that I recommend is vastly more expensive than USD $500, but I'm just putting it out there because I really do like this earphone quite a bit. These are the Visioneers VE7. Honestly, I like them more than the VE8. So the VE7 sounds very distinctly different from the rest of the Visioneers line. The VE8, that is the flagship, is actually rather detailed but dark sounding. The VE7 on the other hand takes a very different approach. It is very neutral sounding. Some would actually say that it's actually quite flat. And because of this, it sounds a lot brighter than the VE8, and this is really to my preference. To me, tonality on the VE7 is amazing. They focus on clarity this time round, and clarity Visioneers truly delivered. It is absolutely clear. So in terms of bass in the Visioneers VE7, these are very clear monitors. So what you get is excellent sub-bass. Sub-bass is rumbly, it's detailed, has a lot of presence. It's rendered in a very lovely manner that is absolutely delicious. Mid-bass, on the other hand, does not supersede the sub-bass. It is there, but it is not diminishing the effect of the sub-bass. So you get a lot of dynamics from that. On the whole, I think bass on the Visioneers VE7, it's honestly 1 or 2 levels up above the MDR Ex1000. That is the case because these are vastly newer earphones. Treble, like the Sony MDR Ex1000, the Visioneers VE7 has a very neutral, natural sort of vocal representation. They are pristine and crystal clear with no added warmth in them. Sometimes, you know, for me, I like to listen to how... I think someone just shot the crows. But anyways, let's continue. Well, yeah, vocals are actually excellent and it's very, very clear. Clearly, it is levels above the MDR Ex1000. There is a sense of lushnesss, sense of smoothness with great resolution and detail as well. Treble on the VE7, to be honest with you, is the best I've ever heard on a Visioneers. They are actually very clean, clear, pristine, oodle-badoodles of detail resolution. It is also very smooth. Sometimes people do treble in a way that they give a lot of treble details, but it is presented in a way whereby it is actually very rough sounding. It is not the case with the VE7. They are smooth with excellent details, but not everything is honey and peaches features with the VE7s. To be honest with you, I think soundstage can be better because they're actually closed earphones, so you don't get any sense of air and space with them, despite the trebles being exceptionally clear. I wouldn't say that they're the biggest of the biggest concert hall. It sounds rather average, to be honest with you. However, depth and positioning is still really excellent, and you can clearly tell where the instruments are coming from. Overall, I really like the Visioneers VE7. I just wish it has a bit more soundstage. So the last earphone on my list that I would recommend to people would be the Fur Audio M5. In fact, I like them so much, I use them every day to work, and they are my current daily driver. So anyways, the Fur Audio M5. Now the Fur Audio M5 first released back in 2019, and it is very interesting at that point in time because I think it's one of the first IEMs that was a tribrid design. What this means is that it has 3 different types of technologies inside it. It has bass done by a dynamic driver, balanced armature handles the mid-range and height, and finally the super tweeter is done by the electrostatic driver. Now Fur Audio didn't take these drivers wholesale and just make it another IEM out there, right? So they actually include quite clever technology inside it. The dynamic driver is called the tactile bass, whereby it uses the whole chassis as a resonance chamber, and what this does, it creates a bass that sounds very, very natural and quite different from other earphones where they just hook up the dynamic driver and just pump the bass into your ears. They do something more than that. In terms of the balanced armatures, they actually have this direct aperture acoustics whereby every balanced armature has a sprout. They just chop the sprout off so that the hole that sound comes out from is actually bigger and there's a more natural expansion. They do that with the balanced armature and the electrostat, and this is truly quite amazing. I don't think that there are many IEMs that uses this sort of technology, and when you hear them, you'll know that there is a classic Fur Audio type of sound. Also, one more tech that Fur Audio has is very, very interesting. These have the Atom included. So what is actually Atom? Atom is a pressure release system that actually makes listening to music more comfortable. What it does is that every time you put on a earphone, there is actually a bit of pressure build-up inside your inner ear, and that is very uncomfortable. But Fur Audio did is that they created Atom that actually relieves this pressure, and I personally like it a lot because I don't get any in-ear discomfort with them. This also makes the earphone semi-open, which increases the soundstage exponentially, which is something I absolutely adore. In terms of sound, I would say that the Fur Audio M5, it's very airy sounding, and this is not only with regards to highs. In fact, the bass also sounds very airy. Let's first start to talk about the bass. Bass on the M5 is actually very impactful and very present. There is very good texture. Rumble is also present, but how they render this bass is actually very different from the rest of the earphones apart from the MDR Ex1000. I find them to be kind of similar to the MDR Ex1000 but better. Despite having all the excellent details, rumble and resolution, it is also very airy. So in terms of bass, they actually render it very differently from what other brands do. It actually has a lot of sub-bass rumble with very good mid-bass detail, but it is also airy, which is not common in this price range or in any other price range for that matter. There is a lightness and the naturals with harmonics with regards to that. So moving on to the mid-range of the M5, they are neutral, leaning warm, and I think resolution is actually absolutely fantastic on the M5. Again, what impressed me most is the airiness. So, you know, every time a singer sings, other earphones you get a lot of fundamental tones in this. So with the M5 it's a little bit different. There is a lot more harmonics going on, and the decay is just oh so natural. It is not awkwardly fast. It is actually very natural. It's just like how when somebody sings live in an open air area, it's that kind of decay, and I absolutely love it. And in terms of treble, earlier I mentioned that the Fur M5 has a direct EST driver. This EST driver really truly makes treble absolutely a delight. Treble, it's plentiful and there is good detail, but what Fur Audio did with the electrostatic driver is that it makes treble ultra smooth, even smoother than the Visioneers VE7, which is really incredible, to be honest with you. In terms of air, again, it is very airy, and you know, it does air effortlessly, which is really truly impressive. And with that, those are the top 5 IEMs that I personally really like, and if you got a chance to listen to them, I highly recommend that you do so. Thank you very much for watching the Supertrunk Super Audio Show. If you like the content, please kindly press the like and subscribe button down here this way. And again, just a gentle reminder, I'm holding the giveaway, so please like and subscribe for you to just take part in this giveaway. I will announce the result once I hit 500 subscribers, and that is very soon, guys. Thanks very much for watching the Supertrunk Super Audio Show, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!